Alright, so to do this part of the event for the Mega Mecha Melee, I need to do this world quest first. So I'm going to go to the quest, and I'm right in front of the person who gives it, so let's go talk to him. I must say, the weather today is simply wonderful. You are quite the dashing young gentleman, Virgil at your service. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, Traveler at your service. A pleasure. Paimon's Paimon, and is at your service too. Ah, such eloquent names. Welcome to the court of Fontaine. It is truly an honor to meet the two of you here. Paimon can't stand much more of this. How did you know we're not from Fontaine? With a glance, it is obvious that you're that you're unsatisfied with being bathed in the soft light of the city, but feel the call of the wild, which will never be illuminated by bright city lights. Yes, just like the heroes in the operas. He was gonna call us uncivilized, though, Yeah, that's totally true. Traveler is an adventurer, too. Ad Astra Abasosk and all that jazz. Ha, I knew it. Those of the Adventurers Guild are beggarly? Dude, why are you being so nice to us and then acting like a jackass? Beggarly? Courageous warriors begging with all their heart to unlock the deepest mysteries of the world. They wake with their eyes to the stars above and sleep with their back to the abyss below. Where there is an unknown domain, there is an adventurer who simply must explore it, bravely bursting beyond the brim. I could not help but notice how your gaze is focused on many things. Perhaps you wish to study our sublime arts, our intricate clockwork mecha, or our advanced civic culture? Meh, it's okay, I guess, considering you're reading asshole. Amazing! Paimon didn't even notice the decorations, but Paimon did notice that Fontaine has a ton of delicious foods that she's never seen anywhere else. Not bad, isn't it? We have a long and glorious tradition of gourmet culture in Fontaine. Naturally, the two of you must often take your meals in the great outdoors, and thus are unfortunately limited in your ability to sample the breadth of Fontaine's superb cuisine. Unable to experience the luxurious richness that is leisurely afternoon tea with a few pastries. I've had more of a chance to sample cuisine than you'd think. Hey, Traveler, let's get back on topic. Paimon thinks that Virgil has a commission for us. Most excellent. My two exceptional friends. Have you heard of the Lillicrous treasure? Nope, haven't heard of it. Then please allow me to explain. This is a legend of a lost treasure that has been passed down in Fontaine for centuries. Once, there was a society called the Lillicrous Forum that was able to attract a great many of the rich and influential. Though they humbly called themselves a forum, their actual plan was to overthrow Fontaine itself. In the end, their conspiracy was exposed, and the distinguished members of the forum engaged in a thrilling battle with the Maison Greninjin, I can't say that word, but were ultimately defeated in the climactic showdown. However, my dear friends, you must know that they were once the richest and most famous of all Fontaine, and they must have gathered a tremendous amount of wealth. Yeah, they definitely did, and they must have a huge treasure vault somewhere. And when you open it, wow, it's overflowing with nothing but gold, shining like the sun. Correct. They wish to overthrow our beautiful Fontaine, and to do so, they must have amassed a fortune so vast they could literally be said to have more money than Morax. However, this wealth was never found. Hehe. So that means that as long as we can find the Lillicrous treasure, we'll also be filthy rich. Excellent deduction, my dear Paimon. With that fortune and control of Synth... Anyway, after a lengthy investigation, I have discovered the location of the Lillicrous Forum's headquarters. It can be found amidst the underwater ruins outside the city. Really? What do you think, my dear Paimon, Traveler? I hereby sincerely extend an invitation to both of you to become my partners and dive beneath the waves to search for the lost treasure. Huh. Even though Fontaine's water is different from elsewhere, Paimon can never forget how she was drowning before being rescued by you. Never fear, I am here. Yeah, you'll see Paimon again for sure. If that's settled, please allow me to prepare diving equipment for the two of you. I should have the correct sizes. There's no need. Ah, yes, I remember. Vision holders may dive freely in our waters. But if it's you, dear traveler... Of course, I do not doubt your abilities. Traveler is a famed adventurer, and he must be very aware of his limits. But it just so happens that I do not share the same capabilities, so I will have to rely on your homegrown technology to keep myself alive. Be that as it may, shall we begin? Yes, lead the way. Your wish is my command. Please, follow me. Our destination is not far from the court of Fontaine. Wow, it looks so heavy and so hot and stuffy. Actually, you can place Miss Flowers wrapped in cloth inside to lower the temperature. As for weight, well, just put it underwater. There's no time for delay. Let's go, my friends. Oh, I can investigate this. Grab. Oh, this place. These green ones are hostile. mean, I figured while I'm here, I might as well collect all the stuff I find. Oh, key. I didn't even realize I had picked up a key at some point. Well, at least this thing's not coming alive. look, a new waypoint unlocked. Check out all the shinies. I think one of my bags behind me fell. That's fine. Actually, can I hit this through the thing? Ha! Okay. Oh, cutscene? How will we open that door and proceed onward? Oh, so this is the forum you were talking about. There are so many books everywhere. They must really have been dedicated to studying and conducting research. I would never have guessed that they were a secret society planning to overthrow the government of Fontaine. As the saying goes, dear Paimon, knowledge is power. This is especially true for the Lillicrest form. You should understand that with great knowledge comes great power, and once great power is yours to command, there will only be one path left to you. Paimon doesn't think that logic really holds water, but you're the local, not Paimon. So Paimon will trust you know what you're talking about and leave it at that. They seem to have been researching some amazing things, though. We've already seen plenty of stuff that obviously isn't from here on the way. Last time we saw them was in the desert of Sumeru. Well, knowing their extensive resources, it couldn't have been too hard for them to get their hands on these kinds of things. After all, this is the fabulous, wealthy Lillicrest form we're talking about here. But we've also explored a lot of domains and seen more than our fair share of cool things during our adventures. Is that so? Then I presume you also found a lot of treasure. You presume correctly. How fascinating. I mean, what a terrific achievement. I expected nothing less from the two of you. It's too bad that this place is completely flooded. It really feels like a lot happened here, and they made a lot of important discoveries. The water levels of Fontaine have risen before, and according to the folks of the Fontaine Research Institute, they will rise again in the future. Perhaps one day all of Fontaine will disappear beneath the waves. Ah, that'd be terrible. And all that delicious food drowned and lost forever. Anyways, let's hope nothing like that will happen in the future. The future? Who cares about that? I'll be dead long before then. So why would I worry about the people alive then? What do the people in Fontaine of the future have to do with me? I would pay my respects to my family and friends. After all, they raised me and have done many things for me. But have the people of the future done anything for you, for me? So what do we owe them? Isn't that right? That's pretty extreme. That's what I might have said about the issues of flooding if I lacked both patriotism and a sense of civic responsibility. Pretty abominable. Excuse me. Anyway, sorry for digressing. There should be a way to open the door below. Let's take a look around to see if there are any clues or keys. I'll also try to see if I can find anything in the associated files, my dear friends. Oh, that actually dropped an item. I was assigned to the same lab. I was nervous at first, since everyone said that he was a child prodigy. Since the disaster, such people are even more precious. I thought that since he's a star of the Institute and was recommended by higher ups, he'd be full of himself, but he's much better than I expected. He's just not especially nice or anything. No obvious symptoms. I made a huge mistake and knocked over an ancient geometry machine that took a lot of effort to bring back from the desert ruins. But then the machine came to life and messed everything up. Though he's a lot younger than me, he's really smart. I can't believe that's how he managed to tame the machine. Maybe taming isn't the right word? Maybe the other engineers will look down on me for using it, but it really did feel like taming. I know the current clockwork machines pretty well, so I can tell the huge technological gulf between the two. Ignoring structure, if you can't solve the power source problem, then it'll be difficult to make any meaningful progress. But I still have to be careful. I've never seen Alain angry, and I don't want to find out what he looks like when he gets angry. A few minor symptoms have appeared. Took the day off? I can hardly believe it. Elaine came to visit me and even brought his sister. She's cute and not afraid of strangers. I'm so happy. We discussed the idea of a thinking machine based on gems and tape circuits. I used the word discuss, but actually I just said things like, oh, or that's really amazing, or how will you do that? Whenever he paused, he didn't make any real contributions. He was really into it, though, and he behaved very differently than he usually does in the lab. His little sister is probably way smarter than me, a research institute assistant. I guess it isn't that boring when it flares up, but I want to return to the institute and help as soon as I can. The additional machine got here. The previous ones are no longer usable since they were completely dismantled, but it did clear up a lot of things, at least according to him. Something about it being driven by the elements in the ley lines, but we can't recreate it with our current level of industrial position in material science. It helped with compiling the report, but there's so much I couldn't understand. Apparently, lots of people are secretly unhappy with Elaine, that Elaine has more research resources than them. But if you ask me, everyone's smarter than me, and they should all get along. That way we can make the world a better place. His sister said that some of their friends are joining the Institute. I'm looking forward to meeting them. No obvious symptoms. I joined the lab as new partners, but now I'm even more confused by their conversations. Why is it I can understand every word on its own, but once they string them all together, I can't make heads or tails of it? Jacob is really the only one even close to being on the same level as me. I feel ashamed just writing that, as an adult looking for reassurance from a child as young as Jacob. I feel like I've lost all the self-respect an adult should have. Based on the research on prime energy machinery, seems like they decided to adopt this name. Elaine and Reen are thinking about trying to use the characteristics of Oshia and Numa to construct a new kinetic core. A few minor symptoms. I may have made a contribution. Well, maybe. I went on a picnic with Elaine, his sister, Rain, and Jacob. It was technically supposed to be field research, but the idea came from Elaine's sister and me. We thought they didn't have any life at all outside of their research, so we asked the Institute's director to arrange something. Patrictures? Oh boy, quite boring, but the scenery is quite nice, since you can see the great waterfall. I brought a camera from the Institute to take photos of them, or for them. I hope there are more outings like this one in the future so I can take more photos of his sister especially. After all, Elaine is always working and can't be with his sister as she grows up, so these photos will come in handy later when he regrets not spending much time with her. Then he'll be able to see how she was at different times, and it won't sting so much. If only my family had enough money for a camera and things didn't go wrong. I'm sure my mom would have taken lots of photos of me. Rain and Jacob like Alan's sister a lot, too. When the four of them hang out, she sometimes acts like an older sister to them, despite being the youngest. It's a really interesting dynamic. Seem to be interested in the ruins and stone statues here. Rain also mentioned something about a troop and seals. Even though we went out there to have a bit of fun for once, they were still thinking about research. No obvious symptoms. Took the day off. Alan's sister came to see me with Jacob. Alan and Rain couldn't make it because their experiment is at a critical stage. They didn't have to tell me any of that, though. After all, with my limited abilities, that I was able to help at all is already fulfilling. I heard that Alan Institute's director came to see me separately while I was unconscious. I feel bad that they came all this way for nothing. I wasn't even awake. Still taking time off, but I hope to get back and help them again soon. I found out that they were graduates from the Narzenschenkreis Institute. That made me really happy. They talked about the director and the vice director as well as their adventures, and it made me feel like a kid again. The only detail that didn't make sense was the cake the vice director made because it felt like punishment when we had it. After the disaster, I lost contact with pretty much all my friends. I'm so happy that they were able to find each other again. I wonder how my friends are doing. They're probably trying to rebuild the Narcischen Christ Institute. I'm probably saying that wrong. Next time I'll go check it out. Talked about the thinking machine again. I had an idea about making a thinking camera so that it would take photos of those precious to him while he's busy. He thought it was kind of pointless, but it had security and surveillance applications. They did it. The light bulb came on. I was lucky to have recovered in time to witness this historical moment. It's quite a pity, but I hope Rain and Kebab will make the breakthroughs of their own in their own research topics. I also hope they get better assistance than me. No clear symptoms. Took the day off. There were several visits while I was unconscious. It's a shame. All I could do is read the letters they left behind. Jacob left me a note inviting me to his and Rain's lab. There's something they want to talk to me about. I hope I can get out of bed soon. Anne brought flowers for me, but they had already wilted by the time I woke up. Took the day off. I was able to get out of bed today. This is where I first met Ellen. For a time afterwards, my first time standing here, I documented the experimental procedures and phenomena based on his oral descriptions. He was trying to start up the machinery below in an ill-fitting lab coat. Rain and Jacob later entered through the door, and Elaine would temporarily forget to act the young genius and rush towards them like an energetic kid. I found myself witness to the first successful controlled annihilation reaction. The bright light cast a deep, dark shadow, and I believe history was made in that moment. Can someone like me, so excited I knocked over the ink bottle, play a role in such a historical event? Behind the locked door on the other side is Rain and Jacob's lab. It seems access was limited due to the dangerous nature of their research. They are destined to become towering figures in history. I guess Alain moved to another lab. Based on his plan, once the energy problem was solved, he would study kinematics. I'll go greet him later. I wonder how Anne is doing now. I wonder what kind of beautiful woman she'll grow up to be. I'll stop writing here. I don't have much time left. I hope everything goes well. That was a mouthful. Do I have to do the opposite? Yeah, I have to do the opposite. Okay. Brilliant. Now we continue further into the Institute's depth, as expected of a season's adventure. Are we investigating the forum? So is it a forum or an institute? Sorry, I misspoke. And forgive me for asking this out of the blue, but did either of you ever run into anyone who was looking for me, or did you tell anyone else about our encounter? Paimon doesn't think so. What's wrong, Virgil? Do you owe someone a ton of Mora? No, of course not. It just occurred to me that I should let you know that there are many greedy goons who are also after the Lillicrest Forum's secret treasure. They're very different from us. They're willing to do anything to achieve their goals, so I've always refused to work with them. As I know the most about the treasure's whereabouts, they have me in their sights. I've spent a long time hiding from their prying eyes and looking for partners I can trust. It is my luck to have finally met you two, my dearest friends. So that's what's going on? In any case, I am just relieved to hear that you never told anyone else about me. Phew! I just know I picked the right people to be my partners. Only your best friends can be relied on to keep your secrets. Dude, we hardly know you, so yeah. Yep, don't worry, Virgil, we won't tell anyone else about you. Haha, I have complete confidence that you will never ever tell another soul about me. Let's go, the treasure's waiting for us. Yep, here we come, treasure! Okay, first of all, I suspect that he's going to try to either trap us or kill us here. Because he was being very flip-floppy with how he was talking to us. and some of the stuff he was saying too. Not to mention, we found that paper that I just read. It's talking about how this is an institution, and it's not the group that he was talking about either. It was a research institute. So I'm going to end the episode here for now, and I'll see you guys later.